Guys, breaking news. The SEC is going to appeal the Ripple victory in the SEC versus XRP case pertaining to whether XRP is a security or not. But I don't think it's a full appeal. So we're going to give you the breakdown. And they're also asking for a special sort of appeal, which doesn't require the case to be over. They can do it and ask for a stay while the case is pending. Now, I think this is BS because these kind of appeals are regularly not granted, but because of the government and the SEC, they think they can do whatever they want. Now, what do they want? They really want to have an interlocutory review or an interlocutory appeal. And that basically says like they want a stay in the case ruling and they want an appellate court to review this despite the case right now not being over because they're still suing Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson. So that means they don't want to actually settle with the parties. They still want to extract as much money as they can out of them while getting the decision of programmatic sales are not securities appealed. Now, they're not actually appealing the fact that XRP intrinsically is not a security. They just think that both programmatic sales and institutional sales should be securities. Now, this goes along very much with what the Terra Luna judge actually ordered. And the thing is, they are actually using that to justify their special kind of appeal that they're asking for. Now, remember, the Terra Luna judge said that in isolation, Terra Luna is not a security, which is kind of like what the LBRY judge actually said. So they said Terra Luna was not a security by itself, but because the way it was marketed and the actions of Do Kwon and how the coin is, both programmatic sales and institutional sales are indeed securities. So a lot of people are saying that they're appealing the fact that XRP is not a security and they want XRP to be security. That is actually not true. They're appealing for programmatic sales of XRP to be securities. Now, is that bad for Ripple? Yes, it is bad for Ripple because Torres already lumped ODL usage in with institutional sales. And some people were saying, well, you know, if programmatic sales aren't securities, maybe we can actually find a way to use the programmatic sales thing to power ODL. But if they make programmatic sales securities, then Ripple can't really sell to either institutions or retail investors, which completely would make their escrow completely useless because they can't actually sell to anyone without actually registering as a security in that case. And that would really hamper the adoption of XRP, at least in conjunction with the United States and the USD. And like 90% of Forex trade is actually with the USD. So that's not a very good thing for Ripple. Now, I don't know if the judge will actually grant this appeal. They only grant this kind of appeal in very special cases, but they are the government and they do actually have a lot of influence and power. And they are actually using the fact that the Terra Luna judge basically said all these sales are securities and there's no distinction between institutional and retail sales. And they want the case to be reviewed by an appellate court while the case is pending. Now, if the appellate court overturns the case, then Ripple essentially loses that part of the case. But then Ripple can appeal up to the Supreme Court. John Deaton is pretty certain that Ripple will win. I still think Ripple will probably win this appeal. And the thing is, like, if the appellate court reaffirms this, then every single court in the second district does have to follow the appellate court. But the SEC is basically going for all or nothing because they understand that even though if this case pertains specifically to Ripple, it will affect the rest of the cases that they're actually pursuing, including Coinbase, Binance, etc., etc. Because they understand that like this will actually affect everything. And their little victory against Terra Luna didn't really change things all that much because Terra Luna was low-hanging fruit. And as I said, and I was right about this, they basically sued both Hex and Terra Luna because they were low-hanging fruit and they were easy victories. And that might actually give them more credibility to ask for an appeal from an appellate court, especially this kind of appeal. I actually thought their window for asking for this kind of appeal was over, but I guess not. So the SEC added it seeks to certify the court's decision that Ripple's programmatic XRP offers and sales on crypto exchanges and individuals sales were not securities. So they're trying to overturn that portion. So they're trying to kind of say like both the sales on exchanges and programmatic XRP offers and sales are actually securities. So it affects the secondary market too. So we really need the SEC to lose this appeal, because if the SEC wins this appeal, then most likely Coinbase will lose their lawsuit. Once again, if Coinbase wins their lawsuit, then this appeal from the SEC might not work. So they both relate to each other. I don't really know which decision would actually come down first. I really hope that Judge Torres actually denies this kind of appeal. And Jeremy Hogan said, and the SEC continues to make questionable decisions, requesting an interlocutory appeal. Note that this is not appealing whether XRP itself is a security, just its losses on programmatic and individual sales issues. But the thing is, programmatic and individual sales issues, if those are deemed securities, then more or less you can't actually trade XRP in the United States. So it's not, for us, it really wouldn't be all that different, because then exchanges can't really list it. You can't really, Ripple can't really buy it or sell it, and the liquidity would actually dry up. So the SEC is determined to kill crypto in the United States with this appeal. I hope that it is actually denied, or they instantly lose this appeal. So like I said, they highlighted the judge's decision in its suit against Terraform Labs, who rejected Torres' ruling, saying cryptocurrencies sold on exchanges could also be securities. And the thing is, like, the LBRY case, the judge did not actually address this topic by itself, but they weren't actually appealing. But like the fact that XRP itself is not a security in isolation is not being appealed. But that's, I don't know if that's just like a moral victory or whatever, because even if it's not a security in itself, but both programmatic and individual sales issues and institutional sales securities, then for all intents and purposes, any way you actually sell it is actually a security. Obviously, this comes like less than a month after the initial ruling. I hope this, like I said, I hope this really gets denied. I think the SEC is just basically overreaching its power by a lot. And I think this is going to be really, really bad for the crypto industry in the United States if the SEC is actually allowed to do this. Now, I don't really know what special grounds they're trying to get this on, and I'm not really sure if their argument is good. I don't actually think their argument is good, but they're obviously using like the low-hanging fruit with Terra Luna victory to actually like justify their appeal. But Terra Luna is a very different situation than Ripple XRP and most other cryptos. You know, like Cardano didn't even ICO in the United States, so that's not really an issue. And many of these other cryptos, you know, had some kind of distribution or something that may not fall under the SEC's jurisdiction, but the SEC like basically lost their case against Ripple, so they're trying to reverse that loss with an appeal. There is a big risk for the SEC to do this because they can lose the appeal too. And if they lose the appeal, they basically have no way out, because that would kind of overturn their Terra Luna loss as well, because that's basically a higher court saying like, hey, the Terra Luna judge was actually wrong. So I'm not really sure which one of those two, I don't really know which one of those two paths this appeal is actually going to go, but these appeals can last for a very, very long time. And since they actually asked for a stay in the case, then this ruling wouldn't really affect anything if they actually get it. So it would be bad for Ripple and it'd be bad for the entire industry. And the thing is, like, the SEC basically is trying its best to put us in limbo for several more years, at least 1 or 2 more years, maybe until their buddies load up. And this is very bad for the next bull run too, because this kind of appeal could easily run over until the next bull run and prevent any kind of altcoin bull run. I think the only people that are happy about this are probably Bitcoin maxis like Michael Saylor, but I think Michael Saylor has a very, very wrong outlook in terms of crypto, because I think if alts go away, Bitcoin will actually drop as well, because like Bitcoin is actually used a lot as a conduit for other coins. So, you know, if the other coins go away, then the use case for Bitcoin will drop by in half. And I don't really think Michael Saylor realizes that Bitcoin and altcoins kind of need each other to actually thrive and grow as an industry. So I think this is going to have the result of putting a lot more doubt on the table if it's actually granted. And I hope the courts actually take that into consideration, because the SEC has done nothing but cause confusion in the industry, and there aren't any real solid rules. Congress needs to actually step in and make some solid rules so the SEC can't go rampant and do whatever it actually wants. So like, this is the email. that the SEC actually sent Judge Torres. Right here, it says, Dear Judge Torres, pursuant to Section 3A of the Court's Individual Practices, Plaintiff Securities and Exchange Commission respectfully sets forth the basis for its anticipated 28 U.S.C. 1292. This is like basically what the statutes they're arguing over. Motion to leave to file an interlocutory appeal as the two adverse liabilities determinations in the July 13th, 2023 order. Granting summary judgment to defendants. The motion will also seek to stay the district court proceedings. So they don't want other lawsuits in the same district to actually be affected by the Ripple case. But mentally, the judges know how Torres actually ruled, including the recently entered scheduling order, ECF number 884, during the pendency of the SEC's motion and potential appeal. They obviously don't want this to affect Coinbase and Binance, because that could be a very, very embarrassing loss for the SEC itself. So that's the SEC's incentive, because they want to win some of these other lawsuits, and they know if the Ripple Labs case stays, they will lose those lawsuits. So I think they are going to kind of getting desperate, and I definitely think they sued Terra Luna and Hex for this specific reason, to build up their case using low-hanging fruit. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. I think the SEC is complete BS. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button, and I will see you guys later.